Amelia Grant had the perfect suburban life until one pink lunchbox shattered it all. What began as a typical school run turned into a descent into deception, surveillance, and strategic revenge. As the polished PTA president and devoted mother, Amelia was never supposed to be the woman who spies, plots, and strikes back. But when she discovers her husband's affair with her child's teaching assistant, she doesn't cry, she calculates. This isn't just a betrayal story, it's an elite takedown, waged between school drop-offs and Pilate sessions. Before you hear this story, ask yourself, what would you do if the man you trusted most made you question everything in the middle of the school run? If you're into stories where betrayal meets intelligence and elegance, hides a dagger, hit subscribe. Because this is more than revenge. This is a reckoning, served with a smile at pickup. Amelia's perfect life shattered by a pink lunchbox. I wake up to the sound of my own internal clock ticking. It's 6 in the morning, and the world outside my sleek, modern home is still cloaked in the soft blue of dawn. I slip out of bed, careful not to disturb James, who is still deep in his dreams, probably dreaming of stock prices and market trends. I move through the house like a well-oiled machine, programmed for perfection. Protein shake, first own scoop of organic, plant-based protein, a handful of spinach, half a banana, and a splash of almond milk. Blend. Done. It's my morning ritual, the first of many to ensure I remain the epitome of suburban success. The sharp PTA president, devoted mother of two, and the polished wife of a high-flying investment banker. The kids' laughter echoes through the hall as I pour the shake into my favorite glass, a delicate, hand-painted piece I bought at a local market. It's my little reminder that beauty exists in the chaos of motherhood. I glance at the wall clock, mentally ticking off the minutes. By 8, I'm in the car, the kids buckled in and munching on their breakfast bars. Today is Tuesday, which means Clara and I will meet at Piazzetta for our weekly coffee. I can already envision the steam rising from our cups as we dissect the latest school gossip, the way only mothers can. Are we picking up Sophie after school? Leo asks from the backseat, his voice a chorus of childhood innocence. Of course, darling, I reply, forcing a smile that feels a little too tight. She'll love to come over for a playdate. The drive to school is a blur of familiar streets lined with manicured hedges, and the occasional glimpse of the Thames glimmering in the morning light. The affluent suburb of our lives is a picture-perfect postcard, with elite private schools that promise the finest education and, more importantly, the right connections. School drop-off is a battleground where reputations are formed and shattered in the span of a single conversation. I navigate my way through the throng of parents, each one vying for an edge, a whispered secret that could elevate their status. I've mastered the art of the polite nod, the knowing smile, but as I pull up to the curb, my heart skips a beat. There, nestled in the back seat of James's car, high's sleek, black Range Rover that has become an extension of his identities, a pink lunchbox. Not just any lunchbox, but one with a name label that isn't our daughter's. My stomach drops, and suddenly, the smooth surface of my perfect life feels like glass-shattered, jagged shards lying everywhere. Mommy, can we go? Clara's voice breaks through my thoughts, and I realize I've been staring, frozen in time. Of course, sweetheart, I manage to say, though my voice feels distant, as if I'm hearing it from underwater. I pull away from the curb, my mind racing, 1,000 thoughts crashing against one another like waves in a storm. Why is there a pink lunchbox in James's car? The question spirals through my mind, taunting me. Is it a mistake? Some innocent oversight? I clench the steering wheel, forcing myself to breathe. No, I refuse to let panic set in. By the time I get home, the adrenaline is coursing through my veins, sharpening every thought into a point. I need to understand what's happening. I need to know the truth. The routine that once felt so comforting now feels like a fad, a thin veneer over a reality I'm unwilling to confront. I pour another protein shake, almost mechanically, my mind racing to construct a plan. Surveillance. That's what it'll do. I glance at my phone, the screen lighting up with messages from Clara, oblivious to the storm brewing inside me. Can't wait to catch up today. Heard the new calf has the best pastries. I type back a quick response, my fingers moving faster than my thoughts. Sounds great. Can't wait to discuss the PTA meeting. But the truth is, the PTA meeting feels trivial now, like a mere distraction from the unraveling reality of my marriage. As I scroll through my contacts, my heart pounds like a drum. I could reach out to James, confront him, but I know better. I won't give him the satisfaction of seeing my vulnerability. Instead, I'll watch. I'll listen. I'll gather evidence like a detective in a thriller novel, and when the time is right, I'll confront him publicly, where it counts the most. The next few days blur together in a haze of normalcy that feels increasingly false. I drop the kids off at school, attend meetings, and smile at parents who don't suspect a thing. Meanwhile, I'm planning my quiet war, gathering intel, and tracing every breadcrumb that could lead me to the truth. I'm not just a mother or a wife. I am Amelia Grant, and this time I won't be the one left in the dark. By the end of the week, I've turned our home into a fortress of information. I've installed GPS trackers on James's car, created burner accounts on social media to follow his movements, and meticulously combed through our bank statements, searching for signs of betrayal. What I uncover isn't just an affair. It's a parallel life he's been living right under my nose. I discover that the teaching assistant, the one who's been helping with Clara's class, isn't just a blip on the radarshes the other woman. The realization sends a jolt of energy through me. This isn't just about infidelity. It's about control, about reclaiming the narrative that James has tried to rewrite. As I stare at my reflection in the bathroom mirror, I feel a shift within me. The woman who stood there moments ago, lost in the chaos of betrayal, is gone. In her place stands a woman ready to fight, ready to reclaim everything that's been taken from her. And I know just where to begin. The morning light spills through my home office window, illuminating my meticulously organized space. A sanctuary of sleek lines and high-tech gadgets designed to maintain control in a world where chaos lurks just beneath the surface. I sit at my desk, staring at the glowing screen, my heart racing as I plot my next move. Surveillance. The word feels like a power cord vibrating in my chest. I've traded in the role of the devoted wife for that of a woman on a mission, a detective in my own life. It's a transformation I never expected, but here I am, Amelia Grant, stealthy observer, armed with a plan. I lean back in my chair, fingers poised over the keyboard, the metallic click of keys echoing in the stillness. My first step is simple. I need to track James' movements. His phone is always glued to his side, a lifeline that connects him to his corporate empire and, apparently, to his other life. I've set up a GPS tracker under the car's dashboard, thank God, for the internet, and tutorials that teach you how to be a modern-day spy without the need for a trench coat. James is blissfully unaware of the little black box silently recording his every journey. The thought of his oblivion sends a thrill through me. How many times has he driven to meet her? The pink lunchbox haunts me, each thought triggering another wave of determination. I'm not just looking for evidence. I'm seeking clarity, the kind of clarity that can only be found in the minutiae of his daily routine. I pull up our bank statements next, my eyes scanning for anything out of the ordinary, a transaction to a local trattoria, perhaps. I snicker at the absurdity of it all, dinner dates disguised as work meetings. I imagine him charming some unsuspecting waitress while I'm home, blissfully unaware, sipping my green smoothie. "Mommy, can we have pasta for dinner?" Clara's voice jolts me from my thoughts, innocent and sweet, reminding me of the life I'm trying to protect. "Of course, darling, pasta it is." I call back, forcing a smile as I remember my little girl's love for twirling spaghetti, her joyous laughter filling our dining room. But the laughter feels muted now, overshadowed by the brewing storm inside me. I can't let Clara or Leo see the shift in me. I must remain the picture of suburban perfection. I'm the sharp PTA president, the mother who organizes bake sales and coordinates school events, not a woman plotting revenge. As I return to my surveillance, I open a new window on my laptop, creating a burner email account. A digital disguise, just like my perfectly curated life. I'll use it to follow Jameis' social media, track his movements, and maybe even glean insights from his friends. Just a little while longer, and I'll know exactly what you're up to, I whisper to myself, the resolve hardening in my chest. The hours blur into a haze of data collection and resourcefulness. I become a maestro conducting an orchestra of information, each note revealing another piece of the puzzle. I scroll through his emails, searching for any hint of an affair. Each click sends a jolt of adrenaline through me. But then a thought strikes me: if he's smarter than I give him credit for, what if he's already covering his tracks? The idea sends a chill down my spine. I shake off the doubt. No, I refuse to be the passive victim in this narrative. I have the tools, I have the will. "Mommy, can you help me with my project?" Leo's voice floats in from the other room, his youthful enthusiasm a stark contrast to the heavy weight of my task. "Absolutely, sweetheart. I'll be right there," I reply, snapping out of my focused trance. As I step away from the desk, I take a deep breath, reminding myself of the life I'm fighting for. I'll protect my children's innocence at all costs. They don't deserve to shoulder the burden of their father's betrayal. I find Leo in the living room, surrounded by colored papers and glue sticks, his face lit up with excitement. "Look, I'm making a volcano," he exclaims, his small hands moving frantically as he demonstrates the project. "That's fantastic, honey. I love how creative you are." I praise him, momentarily pushing aside the chaos in my mind. But as I help him construct the volcano, my thoughts drift back to my mission. I can't lose sight of what's important: me children, their happiness, and my sanity. Revenge can wait a little longer, but I know it's lurking just beneath the surface, waiting for its moment to strike. "Can we make it explode?" Leo asks, his eyes wide with hope. "Of course. Just like I plan to explode the truth about your father." I think to myself, a dark smirk creeping onto my lips. With each passing day, my plan solidifies, and I become more adept at navigating this dual existence. I drop the kids off at school, smile at other parents, and maintain my status as the perfect suburban mom, all while gathering intel like a hawk circling prey. The coffee shop where Clara and I meet becomes my headquarters. I listen to snippets of conversations, eavesdropping on gossip about James and Sophie, the name that now feels like a venomous snake coiled in my heart. "Did you hear about the teaching assistant? Rumor has it she's quite the charmer," a mother whispers, her voice laced with the thrill of scandal. Chapter 2, The Surveillance Begins, Amelia's Quiet War. I never considered myself a snoop. I was the PTA president, the queen of organized chaos, the woman who kept her family's lives running smoother than a well-oiled Range Rover. But that was before the pink lunchbox, a jarring splash of color in my otherwise monochrome existence. Now, I find myself perched on the edge of my sleek home office chair, fingers hovering over Jame's phone like a predator sizing up its prey. Ever caught your man lying before breakfast? I mutter to the empty room, my voice dripping with sarcasm. I swipe his phone from the charging dock, heart pounding with a mix of adrenaline and dread. What I find isn't just a breadcrumb trail, it's a full banquet of deceit. At first, the messages appear innocuous flirty banter wrapped in emoji-laden texts. "Can't wait to see you again," followed by a winking smiley. My mind races, dissecting every syllable. "Who is this you?" My stomach churns as I scroll further, a digital voyeur in a world I never wanted to enter. I could confront him now, demand answers, but no. This isn't a dramatic reveal on a soap opera. This is my life, and I plan to play it like a chess match. I need evidence, cold and irrefutable. So, I dial up my inner spy. With a few clicks, I create a burner email account, a digital ghost lurking in the shadows of his social media. The thrill of this new role sends a shiver of excitement up my spine. I'm not just Amelia Grant anymore. I'm a woman on a mission. As I dive deeper into the murky waters of Jame's online presence, I uncover more than just flirty messages. Photos of Sophie Miller, the teaching assistant, the other woman, pop up in his feed, her sunshine smile grating against my carefully curated world. She's young, vibrant, and utterly oblivious to the storm brewing around her. God, the audacity, I whisper, the taste of revenge sweetening my resolve. I can almost hear the hushed whispers of the other parents at school, their eager eyes darting between their lattes and the latest gossip about me. But soon, they'll be whispering about Jame's downfall instead. The clock ticks steadily, each second a reminder that I'm running out of time. I take a deep breath, steadying my racing heart. They think they know me, the perfect suburban wife, but they have no idea what I'm capable of. This is just the beginning. Back in the shadows, I smile at my screen. This quiet war is just heating up, and I'm about to turn the tables in ways they never saw coming. The school grounds feel like a battlefield, and I'm not just a mother. I'm an undercover agent, cloaked in Lululemon and sunglasses that scream, "Don't even think about it." The morning air is thick with the scent of fresh pastries from the cafe around the corner, but all I can taste is the bitterness of betrayal. I position myself strategically by the hedge, pretending to be engrossed in my phone while scanning the drop-off chaos. There's James, all charm and charisma, greeting parents like he's the mayor of suburbia. His laughter rings out, a sound that once filled our home, but now feels like a weapon turned against me. And beside him, Sophie Miller, the teaching assistant, her hair catching the sunlight, making her look like a goddess in a sea of mere mortals. God, why does she have to be so damn radiant? Look at her, I mutter under my breath, the words laced with a venom that surprises even me. She's practically a walking Instagram ad for youth and vitality. I watch as they exchange glances, their smiles lingering just a beat too long, their laughter too intimate for a mere teacher-parent relationship. Each interaction is a dagger to my heart, but I refuse to let it show on my face. I'm a statue, a marble figure among the gossiping parents, my insides churning with quiet fury. "Stay calm, Amelia," I whisper, channeling my inner detective. "You're here to gather intel, not to combust into flames of jealousy. I'm on a mission, after alone that requires surgical precision and the kind of poise usually reserved for Fashion Week runways." As I scan the scene, I catch snippets of conversation mums discussing their latest Pilates classes, the newest gluten-free trends, and the inevitable chatter about James. "Did you hear he's been so busy lately?" One lady whispers, a knowing smirk on her lips. "Poor Amelia must be so lonely." "Oh, they think they know me. They have no idea." I shift slightly, my eyes narrowing as I spot Sophie leaning a little too close to James. The way she brushes her hand against his armpits, almost innocent, but charged with an electricity that makes my skin crawl. I can feel the heat rising in my cheeks, a mix of betrayal and rage. "Take a picture. It'll last longer." I scoff at my reflection in the car window beside me. I have to remind myself to breathe. With every interaction I witness, my resolve hardens. This isn't just about revenge anymore, it's about reclaiming my narrative. I need to expose this farce, and the school pickup line is the perfect venue. The audience will be ready, and they won't know what hit them. Chapter 3: Strategic Revenge. Amelia's master plan unfolds. I sit across from Clara, our usual calf piazzetta buzzing with the chatter of gossiping mothers, each voice a lilting background hum that barely registers over my internal monologue. The aroma of fresh coffee and baked goods wafts around us, but I barely touch my cappuccino, the foam art of a heart taunting me with its innocence. "Amelia, you need to document all of this," Clara insists, her dark curls bouncing as she leans in, her eyes wide with concern and excitement. "Every text, every photo, every little detail. Think of it as your own private documentary of deceit." I can't help but smile at her enthusiasm. My own documentary, I like that. Maybe I'll call it The Real Housewives of Betrayal. Clara rolls her eyes, but the corners of her mouth twitch with amusement. "You're the only one I know who could turn a marital crisis into a reality show pitch." Her tone sharpens. "But seriously, we need a strategy. The kind that gets you front row at the gossip fest that is the school pickup line." "Okay, but how do I do that without looking like a lunatic?" There's a fine line between gathering evidence and becoming the next subject of a true crime podcast. "Subtlety, darling," she replies, her voice dripping with mock seriousness. "Start with the school events. Capture candid moments like a photographer at a celebrity wedding. Just don't get caught." I chuckle, picturing myself lurking behind the bushes, camera in hand, like some suburban spy. "And what's next? Do I put on a trench coat and sunglasses?" "Now you're talking. Maybe a little eavesdropping while you're at it. Just don't go full James Bond, you want to blend in." Her words sink in and my mind races. I could volunteer for the next school event. Get in close, mingle, and keep my ears open. Exactly. The PTA needs a strong presence, and you're the perfect candidate. All the while, you'll be collecting intel on your charming husband and his little teaching assistant. The thought sends a jolt of adrenaline through me. I'm not just a scorned wife, I'm a woman gearing up for battle. I'll need to play this perfectly, I say, my confidence rising as I visualize the upcoming events. A little charm, a little surveillance, and a lot of patience. Clara leans back, surveying me with a mix of admiration and concern. "Just remember, Amelia, don't lose yourself in this. Revenge can be intoxicating, but it's also a double-edged sword. The walls of my home office have never felt so suffocating. What was once a space filled with organized chaos, a sanctuary for PTA materials, school schedules, and art projects, now a war room alive with the hum of purpose. Maps are tacked to the walls, each pin a testament to my meticulous tracking of James's every move. I can almost hear the theme music from a spy film playing in the background, a soundtrack to my own personal drama. I sit in front of my laptop, fingers dancing across the keyboard as I pull up the GPS tracker I discreetly attached to James's car last week. What a thrill it was, slipping it under the seat while he was too busy with his urgent work call to notice. I recall the smirk that crept across my face at the sheer audacity of it. Amelia Grant, suburban housewife turned secret agent. Who knew? The tracker pings, and my heart races. A little green dot flashes on the screen, illuminating his route across London. "Where are you off to now, darling?" I murmur, indulging in the dark thrill of it all. This morning, he left home under the guise of a meeting with a clientone of those vague, corporate cover stories that I've learned to read like a book. But as I scan the route, I see it. Oh, there it is, the detour. A quick jaunt through the affluent streets of Richmond, where the parks are lush and the cafes serve overpriced lattes. My fingers itch to dig deeper, and I can't help but chuckle at the absurdity. Meetings, I scoff, more like rendezvous. He's been meeting Sophie during work hours. I can't help but imagine them, cozy in some chic little cafe, the kind that serves gluten-free muffins and artisanal teas. I picture her leaning in, her laughter ringing sweeter than the sound of my own heart breaking. The thought is a knife, sharp and cutting, but it fuels my resolve. I grab my notepad and jot down his movements, my pen scratching furiously against the paper. Each line feels like a victory, a step closer to the moment he'll unveil the truth. James Grant, the man who thinks he can juggle two lives without consequence, I mutter to myself, a smirk curling my lips. How quaint! The plan is coming together like a perfectly executed recipient-tailed, precise, and laced with just the right amount of poison. I'll be the chef de cuisine in this little drama, serving up revenge that'll leave a lasting taste in the mouths of everyone involved. As I meticulously compile my notes, I lose track of time. Hours slip by, and the sun begins to set, casting a golden glow through the window. The school pickup line is a battleground, alive with the sounds of laughter, the squeal of tires on asphalt, and the chatter of parents pretending to be civil while eyeing each other like hawks. It's a scene that could easily be mistaken for a social gathering if only we weren't all so keenly aware of the knives hidden behind designer smiles. I pull into the parking lot of St. Jude's Academy, my trusty Range Rover glinting like a trophy amid the sea of SUVs. The afternoon sun dapples through the trees, casting playful shadows that dance across the gravel. I take a moment to center myself, inhaling deeply. Today is about clarity both in vision and purpose. I'm not just here to collect my daughter, I'm here to gather intel, to stage my masterpiece. As I step out, the scent of freshly cut grass fills the air. The school grounds are meticulously manicured, much like the reputations of the parents who frequent them. I scan the horizon, my eyes landing on the usual suspects. Sarah in her designer heels, clutching a latte like it's a shield. Julia, her perfectly coiffed hair swaying as she gestures animatedly. And of course, Sophie, the teaching assistant, oblivious to the storm brewing just beneath the surface. A smirk plays on my lips as I picture the look on James's face when his world unravels in front of them. I can almost hear the collective gasp, the whispers ricocheting like bullets through the crowd. It's a delicious thought, one that fuels my determination. Is it bad that I'm looking forward to this? I mutter under my breath, a wicked thrill coursing through me. I approach the pickup area, where parents are herding their children like sheep. The vibrant chatter of kids fills my ears, but it's the low hum of adult conversations that intrigues me. The tension is palpable, and I can feel the weight of judgment hanging in the air. I'll use it to my advantage. With each passing moment, my heart races, not with anxiety, but with anticipation. The plan unfolds in my mind like a perfectly choreographed ballet. I'll wait until he arrives, all casual charm and disarming smiles. He has no idea what's coming. Amelia, there you are. Clara's voice cuts through my reverie, her presence a grounding force in the chaotic atmosphere. She approaches, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Ready for the main event? I nod, a confident smile spreading across my face. Ready to turn this pickup line into a red carpet premiere. Clara glances over her shoulder, assessing the crowd as if calculating the best angle for a photo shoot. Just remember, no crying or dramatic speeches. We're here for surgical precision. Chapter 4: Strategic Revenge. Amelia's master plan unfolds. The cafe hums with life, a cacophony of laughter and the clinking of porcelain that feels both comforting and suffocating. I nestle into a plush velvet armchair at the corner table, a perfect vantage point for my self-appointed role as the observer. The walls are adorned with monochrome photography of the local landmarks Piazzetta, Hotel Splendido, and the enchanting views from Castello Browner reminder of the affluence that envelops me like a designer coat. Around me, the mothers of St. Jude's Academy flit about, their lives a carefully curated display of perfection. I sip my matcha latte, the froth swirling like my thoughts, as I eavesdrop on snippets of conversation that ricochet through the air like bullet points in a corporate meeting. Did you hear about James Grant? One mother whispers, her voice dripping with faux innocence. I lean in closer, my heart thrumming in my chest like a war drum. Honestly, I can't believe Amelia puts up with him. I'd have kicked him to the curb ages ago. Another mother, her hair a glossy chestnut, nods vigorously. Right, how does she not see the signs? Men like him are always up to no good. I bite back a smile, the irony tasting sweet on my tongue. Little do they know, I've been plotting his downfall from my suburban fortress, their gossip just another tool in my arsenal. Amelia's just so polished, the first mother continues, her tone turning condescending. I wonder if she's too proud to admit it. Pride? Oh, darling, if only you knew. My pride is the least of your worries. Clara, perched across from me, catches my eye and raises an eyebrow. Her expression is a mix of concern and amusement. You're not actually going to let them get to you, are you? She asks, her voice low but laced with camaraderie. Of course not, I reply, a smirk dancing on my lips. I'm merely taking notes for the upcoming performance. They're my audience, after all. Just remember, this is a stage, not a reality show. No tearful confessionally strategic revelations, Clara reminds me, her unwavering support grounding amidst the storm brewing just beneath the surface. I nod, my resolve hardening like the froth atop my latte. I'll ensure my grand reveal is a showstopper. Think of it as an art exhibit where the featured piece is the truth. As the mothers continue their chatter, I can't help but notice how they navigate their conversations like seasoned diplomats. Each word calculated for maximum impact. They dissect my life as if it's a well-scripted drama, and in their judgments, I find unexpected fuel for my fire. James is such a charmer, one mother remarks, her voice laced with envy. He could sell sand to a desert dweller. You'd think he'd have a better sense than to mess with a woman like Amelia, another counters, her tone drenched in faux sympathy. She's not one to cross lightly. I take a slow sip of my latte, letting their assumptions wash over me. They've unwittingly become my allies in this twisted game. With every disparaging remark, I'm reminded of why I'm doing this. James thinks he can juggle two lives without consequence, but I'm about to remind him that the spotlight can burn. Channel that energy, Clara whispers, leaning forward. Every glance, every word they say is a reminder of your power. Use it, right, I say, my voice steady. I'm the one writing the script, and I'll ensure it has a twist they'll never see coming. The tension in the calf thickens, and I can feel the stakes rising. The mothers gossip about everything from school fundraisers to the latest designer trends, but it's the snippets about James that grip me. Their perceptions become my ammunition, sharp and precise, ready to fire when the moment is right. Did you know he was seen at that new calf in Richmond? One mother mentions, her eyes sparkling with scandal. With a younger woman, no less. I mean, really, how click? A younger woman. I can't help but smirk, recalling the sight of Sophie, all fresh-faced and eager, laughing too easily at his jokes. I mentally add this to my growing list of intel, each piece fitting into the puzzle of my revenge. Looks like I'll need to pay a visit to that calf, I murmur, my mind racing, for research. Clara chuckles softly, her eyes glinting with mischief. Just make sure you don't get caught. We don't want you on the other end of the gossip mill. Please, I scoff, I'm the one holding the scissors. They'll soon learn that I'm not just a name on a lunchbox. As the mothers' conversations swirl around me, I can feel the tension coiling tightly within me, the anticipation building like a pressure cooker ready to explode. I'm not just biding my time, I'm crafting my masterpiece. Each word I hear a brushstroke on the canvas of my revenge. The calf, with its aroma of freshly brewed coffee and warm pastries, becomes a sanctuary of clarity. I'm not just Amelia Grant, the polished wife of an unfaithful investment banker. I'm a force of nature, ready to unleash the storm I've been building beneath the surface. Back in the sanctuary of my sleek, modern home, I close the door of my home office and let the silence wash over me like a cool breeze on a stifling day. The room is a symphony of technology, high-tech gadgets lining the walls, screens glowing with data, and a massive whiteboard covered in timelines, annotations, and colorful sticky notes. Each piece is a testament to my meticulous planning, a visual representation of the war I'm waging beneath the surface of suburbia. I take a seat at my glass-topped desk, the cool surface grounding me as I sift through the evidence I've gathered. My heart races not from fear, but from the thrill of the hunt. I've spent days piecing together James' movements, and now, assembled in front of me is the dossier of his betrayal. It's a comprehensive narrative of deceit, complete with timestamps and locations, like a twisted love letter to his infidelity. I pull out my favorite gel pen, the one with the sleek gold casing, and begin to organize my findings. The ink flows smoothly across the pages as I capture the essence of his lies. There's something deliciously satisfying about documenting his missteps, each stroke a reminder of the power I'm reclaiming. Ever crumpled a love letter written in invisible ink? I murmur to myself, a wicked smile creeping across my face. This one's about to be revealed in the harsh light of day. I start with the patterns I've spotted his late nights at the office that coincided suspiciously with Sophie's shifts at St. Jude's. My pulse quickens as I recall the day I trailed him, my heart pounding in rhythm with the engine of my Range Rover. I parked inconspicuously outside that cafe in Richmond, the one with the cobblestone streets and the fragrant aroma of fresh pastries wafting through the air. That day, the two of them were seated at a table, laughing over cappuccinos, his charm dazzling her like sunlight on the water of the nearby marina. I add a note to the timeline, Richmond Caftuo lattes, one betrayal. The words feel like a punchline, and I relish the irony. As I compile my dossier, I can almost hear the whispers of the other mothers at the school grounds. Did you hear about Amelia Grant? The woman who thought she had it all figured out. Their judgment will soon turn to awe when they see the truth laid bare, the layers of deceit peeled away like an onion, revealing the rotting core beneath. The timeline expands, detailing the nights James claimed to be working late, juxtaposed with texts I retrieved from his phone. Working late was the code for spending time with Sophie, and I could practically visualize the two of them plotting their little escapades under the neon lights of London. Really, James? I scoff, shaking my head as I draft my master plan. You thought I wouldn't notice the pattern. You underestimated me. I glance around the room, taking in the sleek lines of the furniture, the high-tech surveillance equipment I've employed with such precision. My home is a fortress, an impenetrable shell that hides the tempest brewing within. Outside, the affluent neighborhood carries on with its usual Facadeth manicured lawns, the pristine SUVs, the whispers of power and influence. But here, in my office, I'm in command. With every piece of evidence I gather, I'm reminded of the stakes. This isn't just about revenge, it's about reclaiming my narrative. I'm the one who gets to decide how this story unfolds, and the first act is about to go live. I shift my focus to the interactions between James and Sophie, dissecting their conversations like a scientist studying an experiment gone awry. I've watched her flirtatious glances and heard the laughter that spills from their lips, and each moment is a dagger to my heart. But I push the pain aside, focusing instead on the strategy. I determine the key players in this dramatic, unsuspecting audience who will bear witness to the unveiling. The school pickup line is my stage, and the other parents will be the spectators, their gasps and whispers the soundtrack to my performance. They think they know me, but they've only seen the polished exterior. What they're about to witness is a revelation that will leave them speechless. Clara was right, I mutter, recalling my friend's sage advice. No crying, just surgical precision. As I finalize the dossier, I can't help but smile at the thought of James' face when the truth comes crashing down around him. The thought alone sends a thrill coursing through me. I imagine the whispers and the shock, the way the air will thicken with tension as the truth slices through the facade he's built with such care. I hear the faint chime of my phone, a reminder that my plan is set in motion. The final details are falling into place, and soon the stage will be mine. I take a deep breath, inhaling the scent of my freshly brewed coffee mingling with the crisp pages of my dossier, a blend of clarity and determination. Let the games begin, I whisper to the empty room, a promise to myself and a warning to him. With one last glance at the timeline, I shut the file, feeling a sense of calm wash over me. I'm not just Amelia Grant anymore. I'm a force ready to reclaim my narrative, to turn the tables on the man who thought he could play me. The sun dips low over the horizon, casting a golden hue over my elegantly decorated living room. The plush velvet sofa cradles us as Clara, and I settle in with glasses of rich red wine me favorite vintage. A bold Barolo that pairs perfectly with the gravity of our conversation. The walls are adorned with art, pieces from local trattorias that tell stories of laughter and life. But tonight, they seem to witness a different kind of drama unfolding. Are you sure you're ready for this? Clara asks, her voice laced with concern, her fingers lightly swirling the wine in her glass. Her green eyes, always so expressive, hold a flicker of worry that I can't quite ignore. Ready? Clara, I've been ready since I found that God-forsaken pink lunchbox. I take a sip, the wine's warmth spreading through me, igniting a fire that smoldered beneath the surface for weeks. This isn't just about exposing James, it's about reclaiming my power. Clara leans back, her gaze steady, as if she's weighing my words. I understand that, but you know how these things can turn. It's a delicate balance between revenge and emotional fallout. You still have to live in this neighborhood after the storm passes. Please, I scoff, waving my hand dismissively. It's all part of the plan. I'll be the one holding the spotlight, and trust me, I've been rehearsing my lines. I can't help but smirk at the thought. The audience at school pickup won't know what hit them. Clara takes a slow sip, her expression softening. Just promise me you'll take care of yourself in all of this. I know you're strong, but even steel can bend under pressure. I nod, appreciating her concern, but my resolve is as unyielding as the marble floor beneath my feet. I will. I'm not just a character in someone else's story, Clara. This is my narrative now, and I'm the one writing the script. I can feel the tension in the room shift, like the air before a storm. The looming confrontation at the school feels like a high-stakes performance, and I can almost hear the whispers of the other parents, their eyes wide with shock as the truth spills out into the open. Let's toast to that, Clara says, raising her glass, her smile returning, albeit with a hint of trepidation. To the scriptwriter and her grand reveal. To the grand reveal, I echo, clinking my glass against hers. The sound resonates in the cozy space, a promise of what's to come. As we sip our wine, I can't shake the feeling that the walls are closing in, a reminder of the carefully constructed facade I've built around my life. The sleek lines of the furniture, the curated art, even the meticulously arranged floral centerpieceal of it is part of the illusion. But beneath that surface, I'm a tempest, ready to unleash my fury on the unsuspecting. Have you thought about what you'll say? Clara's voice pulls me from my thoughts. During the reveal, I mean, it's not just about the evidence. You need to have something impactful. I lean forward, the thrill of the plan invigorating me. I've crafted the perfect lines. I want to ensure James feels every bit of the betrayal he's dished out. Something along the lines of James, who knew you could juggle two lives. But here's the catch. I'm not just a name on a lunchbox. Clara's laughter bubbles over, her eyes sparkling. That's a killer opening. You're going to leave them breathless. Exactly, I say, my heart racing at the thought of the moment. And while I'm at it, I'll toss in a few well-placed truths about Sophie, too. A little context goes a long way, especially in a place where reputation is everything. Just be careful, she warns, her tone shifting serious again. You know how the other mothers can be like vultures circling a carcass. They'll want to pick apart every detail. How could I forget? I chuckle, picturing their judgmental faces, the way they'd dissect my life like it was their latest social project. But they'll soon learn that I'm not the one to be trifled with. This suburban battlefield is about to see a different side of Amelia Grant. As I finish my glass, a wave of confidence washes over me. I'm not merely preparing for a confrontation, I'm orchestrating a masterpiece. The thought sends a thrill down my spine, and I can't help but smile at the prospect of reclaiming my narrative. Just promise me one thing, Clara says, her voice softening once more. If things get too overwhelming, take a step back. You don't have to do this alone. I nod, a mixture of gratitude and determination flooding me. I know I don't, and that's precisely why I have you. You're my anchor, Clara. Besides, I can't let him think he's won. Not now, not ever. The air between us crackles with unspoken understanding. Clara's unwavering support becomes a lifeline, tethering me to the ground as I prepare to launch myself into this storm. All right then, Clara says, her voice firm. Let's make sure you have everything in place. I'll help however I can, of course. We're in this together, I reply, a fierce smile spreading across my face. And when the dust settles, Chapter 5. The school pickup. Amelia's moment of truth. My heart races as I pull into the school parking lot, the scent of freshly cut grass mixing with the faint aroma of burnt croissants wafting from the nearby cafe. The sun hangs low, casting a golden hue over the manicured lawns, where parents chatter and children dart around with backpacks too big for their tiny frames. This is the stage for my performance, the pickup line where reputations are made and shattered. There's a rhythm to this chaos, a dance of social hierarchy that I've mastered. The SUV idles, and I take a moment to breathe. My hands grip the steering wheel, knuckles white, as I scan the crowd with surgical precision. There's Clara, her hair blowing softly in the breeze, already on the lookout for me. I catch her eye, she nods, a silent reminder that I'm not alone in this. But my focus quickly shifts back to the scene unfolding near the school gates. And there he is, James, my charming, unfaithful husband, standing too close to Sophie Miller, the teaching assistant who has turned my life into a twisted game of betrayal. They are laughing together, their heads tilted conspiratorially, as if sharing secrets meant for only the two of them. A familiar pang of nausea rolls through me, but I swallow it down. My resolve is sharper than ever. I roll down the window, the chatter of parents fills the air. "Did you hear?" One mother whispers, her voice dripping with the kind of gossip that thrives here. "They say James has been spending extra time at the school since that new assistant arrived." I suppress a smirk, wondering how much longer they'll be oblivious to the truth. Ever caught your man lying before breakfast? I think to myself, a dry chuckle escaping my lips. This isn't just about revenge, it's about reclaiming my narrative. I've spent too long being the perfect wife, the perfect mother, and now it's time for the curtain to fall. The line inches forward, and I can feel my pulse quicken. A mother in a designer outfit passes by, her heels clicking sharply against the pavement, oblivious to my inner turmoil. I take a breath, pulling back from the edge of uncertainty. I am not here to crumble, I'm here to execute. I watch as James leans in closer to Sophie, his arm casually draped around her shoulder. The intimacy of the gesture cuts like a knife, but I refuse to let it show. Instead, I channel that pain into focus. This is the moment I've prepared for the public unveiling of their little secret. I glance at Clara again, and she raises her phone, as if to say, "Ready when you are." A surge of adrenaline courses through me. I'm not just a woman scorned, I'm a strategist in the battlefield of suburbia. I've gathered evidence, I've planned meticulously, and now I'm about to turn the tables in a way that no one will forget. As the car rolls to a stop, I remind myself of the stakes. It's not just about James and Sophie. It's about every whispered secret, every hidden glance that has ever passed between them. The parents, Herathos, self-proclaimed pillars of the community, will witness the truth laid bare. I take one last look at them, their laughter floating on the air like a mocking melody. This isn't just a pickup line. It's the battleground where I will reclaim my power. With a deep breath, I step out of the car, the heat of anticipation igniting my spirit. I step out of the SUV, the crisp air laced with the scent of chalk dust and freshly mowed grass. The chatter of parents swirls around me, a medley of laughter and whispers that masks the tension coiling in my stomach. I force a smile, the kind that stretches from cheek to cheek, as I weave through the clusters of mothers and fathers, their faces painted with concern or delight, or perhaps just the latest gossip. "Amelia, lovely day, isn't it?" A blonde in a designer trench coat waves, her perfectly manicured nails catching the sunlight like a beacon of false sincerity. I nod, of course, because maintaining this facade is part of the game. "Oh, just splendid," I respond, my voice dripping with the same sweetness that laces the calf's pastries. Inside, my mind is racing, calculating every possible outcome of the showdown ahead. "Did you hear about the bake sale next week?" She continues, oblivious to the internal storm brewing behind my calm exterior. Bake sales, playdates, and PTA meetings. These are the battlegrounds where reputations are forged, where loyalty is bartered like commodities. I've already signed up for cupcakes. Delightful, I say, my tone cheerful yet rehearsed. I'll bring the brownies then. No nuts, of course, of course. She chirps, and I can see her eyes glaze over, already plotting her next conversation about how her son's soccer skills are far superior to the rest. I smile again, but my focus drifts back to James and Sophie, who are still huddled together, laughter slipping from their lips like poison sweet and dangerous. Clara sidles up beside me, her presence a reassuring balm. "You okay?" she whispers, her voice low, barely audible amid the noise. I glance at her, grateful for the anchor she provides. "Absolutely," I reply, though my heart beats like a drum in my chest. "Just enjoying the ambience." She raises an eyebrow, the corner of her mouth twitching up in a knowing smile. "Right, because nothing screams enjoyment like watching your husband flirt with the teaching assistant." I chuckle lightly, but it's hollow. "Isn't it just delightful?" I reply, sarcasm layering my words like a high-end fabric. "I should've brought popcorn." Clara nudges my shoulder, her solidarity grounding me. "Remember your plan, Amelia. You've got this." I nod, but the weight of the impending confrontation hangs heavy. Each exchange with the other parents is a rehearsed dance, each smile a mask. I can feel the tension radiating from my core, but I push it down, focusing on the task ahead. "Look at them," I say, tilting my head toward James and Sophie. The way he leans in, the way she bites her lip. It's like a scene from a bad soap opera. "More like a horror film," Clara quips, her eyes narrowing. "You know they're about to get their comeuppance, right?" "Exactly," I say, gritting my teeth, and I'm the one holding the script. As the line inches forward, I take a steadying breath, reminding myself of my purpose. This isn't just about revenge. It's about reclaiming my narrative, flipping the script that James has been writing all along. I take a step forward, the world narrowing to a fine point as I approach James and Sophie. The cacophony of laughter and chatter fades into a dull roar, as if they are all mere characters in a play where I hold the script. My heart pounds like a metronome, keeping time with the drama about to unfold. I can feel Clara's gaze burning into my back, a silent cheerleader in the stands of this suburban arena. James looks up, his grin faltering as he spots me. It's a flicker, barely perceptible, but I see Ida crack in the facade. His eyes dart to Sophie, panic creeping in as he realizes the inevitable. "Amelia," he calls, the note of surprise in his voice almost comical. "What are you doing here?" "Oh, you know," I say, my voice sweet as honey but laced with a razor's edge, "just picking up the kids. But I thought I'd stop by to see how my husband is enjoying his extracurricular activities." The words drip with disdain, yet I keep my tone light, a tightrope walk between fury and composure. "Extracurricular." Sophie echoes, her brow furrowing, but there's an edge of curiosity in her voice. She plays innocent, but she's anything but. The way she clings to James, the way they both share that intimate laughter, it's a language I know all too well. "Ah, yes," I continue, my smile unwavering. "You know, like spending extra time at school, the late-night meetings and all that." I glance around, catching the eyes of the other parents, their faces reflecting a mix of shock and intrigue. Whispers ripple through the crowd, a wave of gossip that could drown us all. James shifts uncomfortably, the mask of charm slipping away. "Amelia, let's not do this here," he implores, his voice dropping to a murmur, but I can see the desperation in his eyes. It's a plea for silence, for the secrets to remain hidden. "Not today." "Oh, but I insist," I reply, the smile still plastered on my face, though it feels more like a grimace now. This is the perfect stage for our little drama, wouldn't you agree? After all, you've been performing for quite some time, haven't you? I can see the realization dawning on Safi's face, the innocent vapidity melting into something darker. She straightens, her defensiveness rising like a tide. What are you talking about? She shoots back, but the tremor in her voice betrays her. Why don't I show you? I pull out my phone, the evidence I've meticulously gathered ready to unfold like a well-rehearsed script. Would anyone like to see some lovely photos from your little rendezvous? I can feel the collective gasps of the onlookers as they lean in, curiosity piqued, scandal brewing. Amelia, please. James' voice is strained, a last-ditch effort to regain control, but he's lost the moment. The audience ear-piercer captivated, the air thick with tension, and I can almost taste the betrayal on my tongue. I raise an eyebrow, savoring the moment. You see, James, it's not just the pink lunchbox that caught my attention. It's the hidden messages, the late-night texts, and of course, the way you think I wouldn't find out. But I did. I turn on my heel, the adrenaline surging through me, and walk away from the scene like a queen reclaiming her throne. The delightful chaos of the school grounds buzzes behind me, but I feel the weight of my decision lifting, buoying me with each step. The whispers of the other parents follow, a chorus of hushed gasps and stifled laughter that I imagine will echo through the affluent streets of our neighborhood for weeks to come. The crisp autumn air fills my lungs, invigorating and cold, as I stride towards my SUV. I can almost hear Clara's approving thoughts floating through the breeze. Now that's how you take control, Amelia. The kind of inner monologue that serves as a pep talk just when the world feels too heavy to bear. I glance back, the scene still unfolding in my mind. James stands frozen, mouth agape, like a deer caught in the headlights of his own betrayal, while Safi's expression shifts from shock to indignation, her cheeks flushing with embarrassment. I should feel satisfaction, and I do, but there's a nagging twinge of something else relief, perhaps. I'm free now, untethered from the shackles of his lies and the FOD ID built to appease the suburban elite. Did you see their faces? I mutter to myself, a smirk dancing on my lips as I approach my car. Priceless, like watching a bad reality show unfold in a luxurious setting. I can almost picture the scene as it plays out a director's cut where James and Sophie stand in the spotlight, their secrets laid bare, while I slip into the shadows, a ghost haunting the halls of their new reality. As I slide behind the wheel, the familiar scent of leather and faint traces of my favorite vanilla air freshener wrap around me like a comforting embrace. I take a moment to breathe, to savor the victory that feels more like liberation. This isn't just about revenge. It's about rewriting my narrative, reclaiming my power in a world that had been written for me by someone else. I start the engine, the purr of the luxury vehicle igniting a fire within me. I've always been the one holding everything towards the PTA president, the perfect wife. But today, I've shattered that image, and I can't help but feel a rush of excitement at the prospect of what comes next. Who knew betrayal could taste so sweet? I murmur, chuckling at the delicious irony. As I navigate through the sleek streets of our affluent suburb, the sun glints off the polished glass facades of the local boutiques, each one a reminder of the lives we lead curated, flawless. I pass the stylish cafe where the mums gather to gossip, their laughter spilling out like the finest champagne. I know they'll be dissecting my little performance for days, and honestly, I can't wait. Today, I'm not just a woman scorned. I'm a force of nature, a whirlwind of change ready to sweep through this elite social circle and redefine the rules of engagement. I catch my reflection in the rearview mirror, sharp cheekbones, polished nails, a confident glint in my eyes. This is the new Amelia, the one who won't shy away from the spotlight but will wield it like a weapon. As I pull into the driveway, I envision the next chapter of my life unfolding, a life unbound by Jameis deceit. The thought sends a thrill racing through me. What's next? I whisper to myself, already plotting new strategies, new alliances. Chapter 6. Reinvention. Amelia's new chapter begins. The sunlight spills through the expansive kitchen windows, illuminating my carefully curated minimalist decor. Today, it feels like the glow has a different purpose, like it's highlighting the road ahead. I stand at the marble island, the remnants of yesterday's chaos still fresh in my mind, but they no longer overwhelm me. Instead, they serve as a backdrop to the symphony of my morning routine. I pour myself a cup of coffee, the steam curling into the air like a wisp of my former self. I was the perfect wife, the polished PTA president, the one who could juggle protein shakes and power pilates with the finesse of a tightrope walker. But now, I'm a woman reborn, and that pink lunchbox in my husband's car feels like a distant memory or relic of a life I'm officially discarding. Yesterday was a revelation. The school pickup line was my stage, and I played my part with the precision of a seasoned actress. The whispers, the gasps, the shocked faces of the other parents, were all witnesses to my unveiling, my metamorphosis. I can still hear Clara's laughter echoing in my ears, her mischievous grin as she cheered me on from the sidelines. "You've always had it in you, Amelia," she had exclaimed, and I wonder if I ever really believed that. Now, as I fill my blender with kale and almond milk, I reflect on the freedom that follows the storm. I'm no longer shackled to Jameis' lies or Safi's betrayal. The air feels lighter, my heart a little bolder. I glance at my reflection in the glossy refrigerator door. Who is this woman? She's fierce, she's unyielding, and she's ready to reclaim her narrative. I think of my children, Leo and Sophia, and how I want to model resilience for them. I want them to see that betrayal doesn't define our worth. It's an opportunity for reinvention. I'll be the mother who shows them that strength comes from within, not from the facade of a perfect family. I set my coffee down and take a deep breath, inhaling the bittersweet aroma. Today, I will explore new avenues, maybe a cooking class at the local trattoria, where I can channel my inner Julia child, or perhaps a weekend away in Portofino, where I can sip wine and laugh at the absurdity of it all. With every chop of the kale, I carve out a new identity. I'm not just Amelia Grant, the wronged wife. I'm Amelia Grant, the architect of my own destiny, and I'm ready to build something extraordinary. The upscale boutique is a kaleidoscope of fabrics and colors, each piece whispering promises of transformation. I step inside, the faint chime of the doorbell sounding like a herald to my new life. The air is thick with the scent of fresh linen and high-end perfume, and I can almost feel the fabric of my old self unraveling as I navigate through racks of designer clothing. I'm not just shopping, I'm assembling a new armor. Each dress I touch is a declaration, each accessory a statement. The sleek lines of a fitted blazer catch my eye, the vibrant red a stark contrast to the muted tones I've worn in the past. This is what power looks like, I murmur to myself, recalling Clara's words. The salesperson, a woman with perfectly tousled hair and sharp cheekbones, approaches with a knowing smile. "Looking for something special?" she asks, her tone dripping with the kind of condescension reserved for those who've never had to fight for their place. I meet her gaze with a steady confidence. I'm not just looking, I'm here to reclaim my life. With a quick nod, she leads me to a selection of dresses that scream sophistication. I sift through them, the silk sliding between my fingers like the moments of joy I've been denied. I settle on a deep emerald number that hugs my curves just right, a piece that shouts "I'm back and better than ever." As I change, I catch my reflection in the mirror. This isn't just a dress, it's an embodiment of my resolve. I slip into a pair of stiletto heels, their sharp points reminding me that I'm not one to be trifled with. With my new wardrobe in tow, I head to one of the local trattorias on Via Roma, where the aroma of garlic and fresh basil wafts through the air. The space is cozy, filled with the chatter of mothers and their children, the clinking of wine glasses punctuating laughter. I find a table near the window, the sun casting soft light on my new Lucca beacon for the world to see. Sipping my Chianti, I scan the room, imagining my return to the school's social scene. The upcoming fundraiser is my stage, and I will command it. Amelia Grant, the unstoppable force, I muse, a smirk playing on my lips. I picture James' face when he sees me, how the whispers will follow him like shadows. Leo and Sophia will see their mother as a warrior, not a victim. I want them to understand that strength isn't just in the battles we fight, but in the grace with which we rise from the ashes. As I plan my next moves, the excitement builds. This isn't just reinvention, it's a renaissance, and I'm ready to paint the town in colors that I adore. The school auditorium buzzes with energy, a hive of laughter and chatter that fills the air like a fine mist. Parents mingle in clusters, their crisp blazers and tailored dresses a parade of suburban sophistication. The walls are adorned with colorful banners made by the children, artwork that whispers innocence, contrasting sharply with the cutthroat dynamics of the adults. It feels like a masquerade ball where everyone is in on the act, except me. I stand at the entrance, a vision in my emerald dress, the fabric hugging my curves like an embrace that says, "You've got this." My stiletto heels click against the polished floor, a sharp reminder that I'm not just here to observe, I'm here to reclaim my throne. "Amelia, there you are." Clara's voice pierces through the chatter as she waves me over. She's positioned herself strategically near the refreshments, where the wine flows like gossip. I approach her, and she takes a moment to appraise my transformation, her eyes glimmering with approval. "You look incredible, like you just stepped out of a magazine." "Thanks, but I'm here to make a statement, not just a fashion statement." I scan the room, my heart racing with anticipation. This is my stage. As I weave through the throng of parents, I catch snippets of conversations, whispers about Sophie, the teaching assistant, and her unfortunate choice. I suppress a smile. It's deliciously ironic, the way rumors swirl like leaves in the autumn wind. But this time, they're not just about me. "Isn't the new fundraiser theme fabulous?" A mother whispers, her voice laced with venom as she gestures towards the colorful banners. But honestly, can you believe the audacity of some people? I flash a polite smile, the kind that doesn't reach my eyes. "Oh, I can think of a few who might need reminding of decorum." My voice is steady, layered with a confidence that feels foreign yet exhilarating. "Right. It's like some think they can just waltz in and take over." I let the words hang in the air, my gaze drifting towards a group huddled near the stage, where James stands, charming as ever. He catches my eye, and for a fraction of a second, I see the flicker of uncertainty cross his face. Good, he should feel it. "Amelia, you're on fire tonight." Clara nudges me, a playful grin on her face. "Just wait until you start your speech. They won't know what hit them." I chuckle, feigning nonchalance. "Oh, they'll know. This is my time to shine, and I won't let anyone dim my light." The lights dim slightly as the event organizer takes the stage, and I feel a swell in the air. The soft glow of my stylish living room envelops me like a warm embrace. the kind I've been missing for too long. It's a space that mirrors my transformation, sleek lines, modern decor, with splashes of color that feel alive and vibrant. The floor-to-ceiling windows frame the darkening sky outside, the fading daylight a reminder that endings can be beautiful too. I sink into my plush, emerald green sofa, the fabric cool against my skin. My heart races, not from anxiety but from exhilaration. Tonight was just the beginning, a launchpad into a life I'm finally ready to claim. I pour myself a glass of Pinot Grigio, the crispness of the wine matching the clarity I feel in my own mind. Here's to new beginnings, I toast to myself, my reflection in the glass a fierce reminder of the woman I've become. With every sip, I replay the events of the evening, the way the whispers danced around the room, how I stood there unfazed, empowered. The parents couldn't take their eyes off me, and I reveled in their curiosity, knowing they were all wondering how the woman they once underestimated had become the center of attention. I had woven my narrative with precision, making every word count, every glance a strategic move. And then there was James, standing there like a deer caught in headlights as I strode past him, my heels clicking a rhythm of finality on the polished floor. I'd seen the moment he realized he no longer wielded power over me. It was intoxicating. "Amelia, you're unstoppable," I whisper to myself, a smile tugging at my lips. The taste of revenge is sweeter than any vintage wine. My phone buzzes on the coffee table, the screen lighting up with a message from Clara. Asterisk, you were amazing tonight. Can't wait to see what's next for you. Asterisk, I chuckle softly, imagining her excitement. Next, I muse aloud, oh, Clara, it's just the beginning. My thoughts turn to Leo and Sophia. They deserve to see their mother reclaim her life, to learn that strength is not just in resilience, but in the ability to stand tall after being knocked down. I envision them watching me, their faces lit with pride as I redefine what it means to be a woman in control. I rise from the sofa, feeling the fabric of my dress brush against my skin, a reminder of the armor I've donned. I stride to the window, looking out at the affluent streets of our neighborhood where reputation is currency. It's time to show them all that Amelia Grant is back, and she's here to stay. Tomorrow, I whisper, the world will see exactly who I am. With a final glance at the twilight sky, I know I'm ready to face whatever comes my way. She didn't raise her voice. She raised the stakes. If this story left you breathless, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Because on this channel, justice isn't loud, it's calculated. And it always hits where it hurts most. See you in the next story.